Hello YouTube! This video is part of my build series for the 3D printable Star Destroyer bridge diorama. I purchased this massive set of 3D printable files from Charveys3D for my 3.75-inch Star Wars figures. I will include the link in the description below. This is the fourth video of my Star Destroyer bridge build. If you haven't already watched the first three videos, you can find them in my playlist that I have linked to in the comments below. In this video, I will show you how to spray the base coat, how to break down the base coat with washes, and how to paint the details. Now we are going to paint all the smaller pieces. To do that, we'll use a glue gun. Put a little bit of glue on the bottom of each one, and we're going to glue them down to a piece of 2x4. Then we'll take them outside and we'll spray paint them in the garage with some of this Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover paint plus primer. So there's primer in it. We don't need to do a separate primer coat. And this is a satin, so very low sheen, and the color is named Granite. At the same time, we'll also do the bigger pieces. And then we'll bring them both outside and do the spray painting. For the finished prepared model, I'm going to use the same color that I used on the detailed pieces for the base coat. So I'm going to take this outside into my garage and spray on a couple of layers of base coat. Now I'm going to do a wash to break down the main colors. To do that, I'll take a jar with some water. I'll put in a couple of drops of, this is dark gray paint. It's called a wrought iron. So we'll do a couple of those. So it's basically a darker color than the base coat. And then 1 drop of regular dish soap just to help it flow and not stick to the model. Then when it's done, yeah, see, we'll get the chunks out. Some chunks are okay because we'll just brush them in. And then we just brush it over the entire surface. And what it will do is it will collect in all the crevices and bring out all the shadows. So I'm going to continue and do all the rest. At this point, I've completed 3 rounds of dark gray washes on all these pieces, and I'm pretty happy with that. You can see it's bringing out the details and it's gone into all the creases and made nice shadows. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a combined wash, and this is Admiral Admiral Blue. And that's because you often hear when people ask about the Death Star colors or spaceship colors, it's a blue-gray. So we're going to get a little bit of a shade of blue. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to mix it up in the palette. 1 drop of Admirable Blue to get some blue in there. And the other secret, apparently, is to put a drop of silver as well. Because this is metal and it'll give it a slight sheen. So we'll see how that turns out. So 1 drop of each. Water. Usually 1 drop to 10 drops of water. And then 1 drop of dish soap to help it flow. So we'll mix that up and see what we get. Now this is worrying me, it looks a little bit too blue. So that's okay. We're going to move it into the smaller ones. A lot of it. So I guess that Admiral Blue is pretty strong. And I'm going to give it 1 more of metallic silver. Pour that out. And I'm still worried about how blue that is. So I'm going to put a little bit more water in. But I can see metallic specks in there, so that's nice. Okay, I think that's good. Let's just do it on the little guys, just in case. So, as a wash, we just paint it over. I think that's good. So we paint it over everywhere. And I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do them all. And then we'll let it dry and see how it turns out. If we look at the pictures from Charveys3D, we can see that these areas are white and these areas are light gray. So that's what we'll start with. To paint the white areas, I'm going to use Tamiya Flat White XF number 2. And we'll shake it up. We'll stir it up with a toothpick. Getting all the sediment off the bottom because it's a brand new can. Then we'll take a pipette and a small plastic cup. Take a little bit out and we'll put it in the cup. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to use a little bit of paint retarder to make the paint dry slower, which will mean if it dries slower, it'll be smoother, the coat at the end. You won't see brush strokes. So we'll put about 5 drops. Using another pipette. Stir it up again. And I'm using a very small brush, a detailed brush, because it's going to be a small area. And we'll load up the brush. And we'll paint it on. These glasses are really helping me out. They make it 2 times bigger, magnifies 2 times, and it makes it much easier for me to see the areas that I want to paint. And there's a light too. So I've blocked in the white part, and I'll just keep going doing the other 3 because there's 4 of these little computers. So I finished all 4. To clean my brush, I just have a jar, and I use the X20A thinner, which is for the Tamiya acrylic paints. And I just swish it around and then dab it onto my brush. Dab it onto a paper towel until it comes clean. I have one of these for light colors and then another one for dark colors to clean. And after 5 to 10 times, I just dump it and put fresh thinner in the jar. Now I'm going to paint the gray areas. To do that, we'll use some Tamiya Royal Light Gray XF80. Shake it up. Stir it up with a toothpick. This time I'm not going to use the paint retarder because it's just a flat gray and it should be just fine. So we'll take this is a number 2 brush, 2-0, and we'll take it right out of the pot, rub it off, and again we'll just carefully paint the top surface. Okay, so that panel is now nice and light gray. And then we'll do the other 3, clean our brush, let it dry, and move on to the next color. Here are all of the finished data pit computers. The final step was to spray them with Rust-Oleum Matte Clear just to seal everything up and protect the paint finish. And here's my list of the paints that I used. And that concludes this video. I will continue my build in the next video, and I will provide a link to the full playlist in the description below. Thank you for watching my build series video for the 3D printable Star Destroyer bridge diorama from Charveys3D. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. If you have any other ideas or tips for how to complete any of the steps that I've shown, please leave us a comment below.